dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky. This is WYMT Mountain News at 11.
Good evening, I'm Madison Carmouche. Law enforcement across the country are investigating a series of suspicious letters that were sent to election workers and public officials. At least one letter contained fentanyl. Brian Todd has the story.
Responders in hazmat suits at an election office in Washington state. Offices there and in 5 other states having to be evacuated. Tonight, the fear is palpable as the FBI and U.S. Postal Inspection Service investigate a series of suspicious letters sent to election workers and other public officials.
This is domestic terrorism, and it needs to be condemned by anyone that holds elected office and anyone that wants to hold elected office anywhere in America.
Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger said election offices were targeted in his state, in addition to letters received in California, Nevada, Oregon, Texas, and Washington state. At least one of the letters tested positive for fentanyl, a synthetic opioid drug used for pain, but which has often proven to be deadly. Investigators are treating all these letters as being linked. There have been at least a dozen letters, all sent out at about the same time. Authorities have not yet publicly identified a suspect. What could the motive be?
Pure and simple, to intimidate election workers and to frustrate voting in those jurisdictions where the letters have been sent. Also, too, to send a message to other people who are in different jurisdictions that something similar like this may happen to them.
One letter released by the FBI reads, "End elections now." Fulton County, Georgia, a frequent target after the 2020 election of election deniers and conspiracy theorists, has also been targeted with at least one letter.
There are some crazy people out there who will go to any extreme to disrupt, interrupt fair, open, transparent elections in our country, and specifically here in Fulton County. It's my personal belief that this is just probably a forerunner to what we can be prepared for in 2024.
Former FBI agent Daniel Brunner spoke about how the 2024 election could be affected by attacks like this.
All these mail-in ballots are going to have to be looked at with a little bit more scrutiny, a little bit more testing.
Brunner spoke of how the FBI and Postal Service inspectors are likely tracking possible suspects in this case.
They're going to work with the FBI Behavioral Analysis Unit at Quantico. They're going to look at the way the letters were written, what type of language was used.
For Brad Raffensperger, the use of fentanyl in these attacks doesn't just signify danger, it's personal.
We lost our son 5.5 years ago due to a fentanyl overdose. We know how deadly this stuff is.
Raffensperger also says election offices in Georgia will now have to be stocked with Narcan, a drug used to reverse opioid overdoses, and election workers will have to be trained in how to use Narcan.
Well, the big story into tonight, some foggy conditions across our region. Here's a live look from the Pikeville Medical Center, and that visibility is very low over in Pike County as that fog continues. That current temperature is cooler as well at 43 degrees. And as you can see, some patchy fog does continue down to 5 miles in Hazard. So we are watching out for a few areas of dense fog in some areas as we go into tonight. Those temperatures are chilly as well, falling into the middle and upper 30s. Again, we stay dry, also tracking some dense fog in some areas as you wake up and kick off your weekend. And a cooler weekend is on the way on your Saturday. We stay dry, but also below average. We should be in the lower 60s. We top out in the middle 50s on your Saturday. But again, we stay dry under some sunshine as well. And more dry weather is on the way into tomorrow evening, also into tomorrow night. And those temperatures are once again cooler, back in the middle to upper 30s as you wake up on Sunday. But if you're heading up to Lexington as number 8 Alabama travels to play the Cats, we are tracking some sunshine, also some cooler weather as well. Again, we should be close to 60. We top out in the middle 50s over in Lexington as well. So we are tracking some cooler weather to continue into your Saturday. If you have those plans for Veterans Day, the forecast also looking really good. We stay under plenty of sunshine, and that is the big story for this weekend. Some more below average weather is on the way. Here is a look at your Community Trust Bank 7-day forecast, where the weekend is always in view, tracking a stretch of drier weather, also some warmer weather into next week. Highs back in the middle to upper 60s, but a nice day on the way on Saturday in Madison as a Alabamian yourself. Just give me a Roll Tide real quick. Can you do that?
Yep, roll tide, Cameron. The rain we saw today offered firefighters some relief from the extensive forest fires they have been fighting for the past week. This morning, there were 32 active forest fires in Kentucky. In the past week, 20,000 acres have been lost to the flames. The fires in Knox County and the fire in Harlan County have been particularly difficult for firefighters to put out. Yesterday, Governor Beshear declared a state of emergency because of the fires.
The emergency declaration being made and the state of emergency across the entire state, we can now activate additional resources such as the Emergency Management of Kentucky as well as the National Guard of Kentucky to help further protect the citizens here in the state.
Firefighters have put out most of the fires, but several counties are now under 24-hour burn bans. Most of them are right here in our region. For a full list of counties with burn bans, you can head to our website, WYMT.com. Extreme weather, including drought, is once again affecting parts of the nation. Farmers across the South and other areas have seen crops die because of too much heat and not enough rain. Crops like cotton, peanuts, soybeans, and more. That means a smaller harvest that could lead to higher prices at the store.
It affects everybody when a farmer don't make a crop, from your retail to your equipment dealers. You just keep going.
In areas that haven't seen much rain recently, farmers without irrigated fields have seen or could see a big loss, even into the millions. Earlier today, Anthem presented a $600,000 investment to God's Pantry Food Bank. The money will go towards supporting their mobile food banks. President of the Hazel Green Food Project, Nikki Stacy, says they will be able to go out into communities and help more people in need, adding that they would not be able to help those that are in need without organizations like Anthem.
So the $600,000 check will not just help our food bank, it's going to help every food bank in Kentucky that goes through God's Food Bank. They are the ones that pays for those mobile units and all the food. Without them, there's no way we could even afford to even attempt to pay for a tenth of those people in our food line.
Stacy said it would not be possible without the volunteers and donations. Tomorrow is officially Veterans Day, but many people pause to remember veterans today. In Richmond, dozens of people took time to honor veterans at Maple Grove Cemetery. The cemetery is the final resting place for more than 250 African-American veterans dating back to the Buffalo Soldiers. Judy Green Baker is a 28-year Army veteran and president of the Friends of Maple Grove Cemetery.
We come to the cemetery so that we can remember African-American history, American history, and we want others to know how much those African Americans contributed to our democracy, to our safety, and to our freedom.
Richmond and Madison County have a long history of African Americans in military service. The historic Richmond High School had 5 graduates that went on to become Tuskegee Airmen during World War II. Well, thank you for joining us tonight. Nate Johnson and Armando Berry will have highlights and scores from across the coverage area, plus a preview of Kentucky's Alabama matchup. Roll Tide. ARH Sports Overtime is coming your way right after this break.